If you're watching this, please do like and subscribe. You'll also be able to find the full version on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And whilst you're at it, go ahead and follow the podcast on socials at From the Commentary Box. Hello and welcome to From the Commentary Box, my brand new podcast about all things sports, leaning into the highs and lows of being a professional athlete and a chance for you to meet the people behind all of the medals. I'm Lara Davies and you're in the right place if, like me, you love all things sports. Because here we're going to meet some incredible athletes and other people from the wonderful world of sport, past, present and up and coming. I absolutely can't wait to go on this journey and bring you along with me, really. I think in journalism and in sports nowadays, all of the questions are always the same. It's, how are you feeling ahead of the match on Saturday? Or, you know, congratulations, commiserations, how did you feel? What are you going to improve on before next time? And if you ask the same questions, we're going to get the same answers. So let's start asking the questions that haven't been asked. How much money does it take to go to the Olympics for equestrian? How does someone figure out that they've got a knack for, I don't know, triple jump? How much discipline does it take to turn up to that next training session after the World Championships or the European Championships, after coming fourth and just missing out on podium? Because those are the questions that I want answering. Please join me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube to get to meet some of the incredible guests I've got coming up. There's going to be Winter Olympians, Paralympians, British Junior Champions, you name it, and we're going to try and get it on the podcast. It wouldn't be fair for me to ask that of my interviewees without first stepping into the commentary box myself. So I thought it'd be good to give you a little bit about my background, a little bit about my journey so that we can get to know each other. I did try sitting down and kind of just talking to the camera about, you know, me and who I am and where I come from and stuff like that. And it really didn't suit me. It was like a monologue. It really wasn't the vibe. So I do have a list of questions. I'm not going to ask myself all of them, but we'll see what comes out. We'll see what takes the fancy and kind of where it goes. So the first question is, what is my first sporting memory? I think there are quite a few, and let's just lay the background down. I was that kid in school that treated every single sports lesson like it was the Olympics. And not just like it was the Olympics, like it was the Olympic final. So if we had any games, if we had any training, I think I used to take like rounders training really, really seriously. So that was me. But if we're talking really super young, I used to do these swimming lessons when I was younger, and I think, you know, a lot of people do swimming lessons. And there's usually about 4 or 5 kids in the same swimming lesson. I don't know why I just said 4 or 5 kids. I have no idea how many kids are in a swimming lesson. Why did I just say that? I don't know. Anyway, there was a couple of kids in our swimming lesson and we were all holding on to the side, and kind of our teacher used to say, you know, you do a lap and then you do a lap, come back, do another one. And so I used to do my lap, and then I used to get a little bit bored whilst waiting for the other kids. So I used to practice how long I could hold my breath for under the water by going under the water, but also leaving an ear kind of sticking out of the water at the top, so that when my swimming teacher went, Lara, what did I just say? You weren't listening. I could repeat back what she was saying. But I was still practicing, I don't know, swimming. I used to be like a little fish when I was younger. I love the water. So that's probably one of them. I think, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of memories. I think for me, sport has really been kind of a journey. You know, doing kind of your rounders, hockey, netball at school. I then took I can't speak today. What is wrong with me? I took hockey further, and then did that to kind of a regional level. And then got to the point where I had to choose between carrying hockey on or doing rowing. And at the time I was rowing loads and I loved that. So I wanted to take rowing forward. And at one point, I think I was training like 8 times a week. We did take it really, really seriously, which was so good. And we always did kind of regional championships and British championships and national championships. And we were a really good squad. And I think it was about year 9 that I started thinking, oh, okay, I'd love to like represent England or like do this for my country. And bearing in mind, growing up, I was like, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to represent my country. I don't care what sport it is, but I know that that's what I want to do. So then when I kind of really streamlined with rowing, I was like, cool, this is the sport for me. As I kind of went on, I found that in nationals, we were always kind of doing 4th or 5th or 6th or coming first in the B final and stuff like that. And with rowing as well, you need to be tall, you need long levers. And I never grew past like 5'5", 5'5.5". So each year I felt like there was definitely people overtaking us in kind of the rankings and stuff. So then I just decided to kind of enjoy the sport for as long as it was going to be in my life. Carried it on for 1 year at uni, and then decided to kind of pair that with journalism, really. And then I went to uni, studied journalism in Nottingham, then went to an internship for Notts TV, and then got chosen to present at the Commonwealth Games as one of the in-venue event hosts. That's the word I'm looking for. Where you're kind of talking to people in the crowd and you're interviewing athletes and stuff. And then after that, I went and did some hard news journalism at ITV Central, and that brings me to where I am now, which is talking to you. So yeah, I always kind of knew that I wanted to pair sports and journalism together as soon as I got into journalism. So that's a little bit about my sports story, which was kind of the second question. Biggest strengths and weaknesses. I'd say my strengths are the fact that I am constantly kind of coming up with ideas and like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. So this is probably the platform for me to kind of have that outlet. And I'd say another strength is the fact that I'm always talking to people. I love talking to people. I love finding out their stories. I'll literally talk to a brick wall. If there was a brick wall outside, I'd probably talk to it. So yeah, probably talking to people, I'd say. Weakness, talking to people. Less starting conversations in the coffee shop, but if I start a conversation on the tube, I usually get a few looks. Or when it's not really helpful that I keep talking to people. And another weakness I think I've got to say is the fact that my competitive nature that I had when I was younger has not gone anywhere. I am still probably one of the most competitive people that I know. So probably that as well. Best sporting memory. So I think probably best sporting memory would have to be, we went to Strathclyde for, actually, would this be? Yeah, it's one of them. So we went to Strathclyde for the British Championships, and we ended up getting through to one of the finals, and we literally set off in this final and were side-by-side racing the entire way down the course, the 2K course, which would normally take 8-9 minutes. And it felt like we were sprinting for all 8-9 of those minutes. It was the most intense race that I've kind of ever been a part of, but it was absolutely amazing. We just pipped it at the last minute as well, so that kind of made all of it worth it. What else would I say? Probably my last rowing race as well. So the last race that I ever did was at Henley Women's with the 4 that I was in for uni, and wow, what a race that was. So we ended up going to Henley Women's, got through the qualifying, then I think we got through the first round, or it might have been our first side-by-side race, and we drew Oxford A to row against, and we were like, oh my gosh, Oxford A, that's so scary. Boat race, all of this was going through our mind. And we turned up to boating, and there were these 6-foot girls, and we were just, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But we didn't let that beat us. We were like, no, we can do this. We're just as deserving to be here. All of this. Got in the boat, went up, and it was being live streamed on YouTube as well. So I literally remember messaging before I got on the water, my coach from secondary school being like, make sure you watch on the live stream, blah, 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 we're about to race, we're in this colour, kind of thing. And also because it was COVID, instead of the kind of gated area for spectators being at the end of the rowing race, it was at the start to make the kind of area more spread out. So when we were literally sat at the start in our positions, we were right next to kind of our families, our friends, and all these spectators. And honestly, the adrenaline that goes through you, any rowers will know, is honestly unparalleled. And I just remember we were sat there, and I don't know how we did it, but we got the most amazing start that we'd have ever done. We, better than the ones that we'd done in practice. And literally within a few strokes, we were ahead of this Oxford crew. And we were like, oh my God, this is so cool. Well, we obviously weren't. We were like laser stream focused. But for the first 600 metres of the race, we were beating Oxford. And so for that to be kind of a race that we shared as a crew that stayed together and was so close, that was literally the most insane race ever. They did end up going and beating us. That's a little disclaimer. But I think when you're there and you're in the moment, and we thought that we kind of were going to be done from the very beginning. And then kind of when we picked ourselves up and went, no, we've got just as much of a chance as this, and then went and did that, it was bliss. Anyway, I think I went on a lot about that for quite a while, but you can tell that I'm quite proud of it. So that's a little bit about me. If you've got any other questions, please do let me know and I'll answer them in the podcast, because let's get to know each other. You'll be able to find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. A video will be going up of me and my incredible guests every single week. And I'm just so excited to go on this journey. I know how much fun we're going to have. And yeah, let's do it. So without further ado, let's find out who's next to have a look at their journey from the commentary box.